me and my wife both like, we both kind of didn't say nothing. Like, you know, just kept watching. Right. And then it was like, what the fuck? And we paused and said, babe, what? You get that? I said, no, I didn't get it. No. Right? So we didn't get it, right? Next fucking day, I'm somewhere at a meeting, in the elevator, and boom, it hits me. Cause it stayed in my fucking mind.
Right.
I fucking started dying laughing.
What? It was a punctuate.
No.
So what was the difference with what you thought the joke that you didn't get, but what made you get it?
What made me get it was just I'm trying to, cause Dave is a genius, yo.
Right.
His shit is crazy, right? It's like a lyric. You're gonna get the rhyme when you get the rhyme, right?
Right.
So what he was saying, he said he don't understand how a man chop his dick off. So what a man do? A man just goes,
that's the most
Wu-Tang,
yeah. The reason this is,
but tell me what you got. I'll tell you what I got.
What I got was the most gangster phrase you could say that describes the hardest shit you could do. Like, it's Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, cut your dick off. No, take that. Like.
That's deep. Now,
because one of your Wu-Tang bands did that shit.
Exactly. Hold on.
So
exactly.
did it.
So now
that's what it was.
Exactly.
Who did it? Who did it?
No. So there's a dude that was affiliated with us, right?
Don't say affiliate, motherfucker. He was a Wu-Tang, son.
Hold on, listen, man. He wasn't part of the Wu-Tang clan.
Okay, all right, clarity.
All right, hold on. Now I gotta give you a test before we go further.
I don't want to test. I agree with you. I agree with you.
From the Sum to Shaolin, Wu-Tang Clan strikes again. The RZA, the Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Deck, Raekwon the Chef, U-God, Ghostface Killer, and Method Man. And of course, the Master Killer and Capadonna.
Method Man and Raekwon are in New York right now for the Jets-Giants game, right?
Yeah. So of course,
that makes sense.
Of course, Capadonna and Master Killer and a lot of Mathematics and sometimes even Redman the Street Life.
Mathematics follow me.
But check it out. But this so we had other groups we signed. North Star. I actually signed North Star. I signed the Black Knights. Both West Coast groups actually. Some from Long Beach, some from Compton. You know, and made a lot of songs with them, talented young brothers. So one of the members of the North Star zoned out.
He zoned out on some crazy.
Man,
one of them drugs you talking about.
Zoned out. And what they call it when you do it? What they call it? Yeah. Oh, there's a word for it though. What's the word when you do it? Castrate yourself. I had to get the word, brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
so he castrates himself, right? So now, that's the punchline of his joke. Do it. Castrate yourself. I had to get the word, brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
so he castrates himself, right? So now, that's the punchline of his joke. The punchline is like, cause this dude, for no reason,
it was a callback, yeah.
So you got it in an elevator?
Yeah, I'm just walking on this elevator. Oh shit!
It's a delay.
I'm serious.
It's a genius joke, but he issued like 24 hours later.
Oh my god, that bit has a long fuse.
Yeah. But Dave does got those kind of jokes.
Oh man, I remember when we were on the road when that actually was the news.
Right.
And he was like, Wu-Tang punctuated so much in anything, whatever you do.
For fun anyway.
For anything, Wu-Tang forever. Yeah.
So when a member, or at least an affiliated member of the Wu-Tang cuts off his dick, and then he does a thing.
He could have been like a nephew, a Wu Fuel.
Did he glue that on?
A Wu nephew or whatever.
You know what's so crazy about that incident? First of all, that incident was very hurtful. You know, like just
hell yeah, it was hurtful.
I'm quite sure it's hurtful to him, but it was
literally.
But it was hurtful in the sense like when it happened, I was doing a TV show called Gang Related, right? And so like I would go like. Say it happened on the night it happened. The next night is a cast where the whole cast get together. And this shit is the news. This is like on every network, every TMZ. This is like, oh shit. And I'll come in the room and everybody's like, what the fuck happened? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you the thing about it is like, I don't know what you need to do to represent your gangster, but cutting your dick off is the most go hard shit a motherfucker could do.
It's hard, right? Now
that's like next level.
Yeah, it's next level. Now, homie, so I had a buddy with me at the time, Paul Banks from Interpol. And we was working on the album, and so he saw me, he said, damn, Bobby, you look kind of fucking depressed. I said, yo, man, like, I don't like the way this shit sound, man.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like depressed, it don't feel like, I said, first of all, I don't think I found in the history of my study, I never heard of a man chopping his own shit off. This shit is biblical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm already, even though some people may have done it,
you don't know about it.
This shit is biblical. Do it to yourself, right? So
Mahabharata.
And what he said, he's like, listen, he probably was really fucked up.
Probably.
Right? Check it out.
Probably.
He said,
yeah, nah, nigga, he was fucked up.
He said he was probably really fucked up. I said, yeah. I said, but then, you know what I'm saying? Then they say he jumped out the window out of a 2-story. He jumped over the balcony of a 2-story apartment building. But did die?
It gotta be. They say he jumped and kept moving.
Yeah, after.
No.
So disrespect to him.
Cut your dick off, jumping over and then hit full stride when it hit down.
No. So my man Paul said this. He said, I think he was sober when he jumped.
How can you get that?
Check it out. He said, I think he was sober when he jumped. And he went on to give me this whole story about one of his friends that had a problem. Because he had to console me. Right now I'm kind of puzzled. So he's like, he's trying to console me. And he told me, I said, yeah, but he didn't die. He said, yeah, he didn't die because he wasn't going to die. Like, you know what I mean? So it gave me a little metaphor in my head. So he said, I had a friend who used to drink and shit, and one night he had a problem with it. And one night he was in a hotel, and he laid on the fucking the balcony of a window, right? And it said, and everybody said, yo, get the fuck off that. And the window's open. It said, if he fall this way, he's going down 10 stories. But if he go this way, he just hit the floor. He's in the room, and that's the whole thing.
Right.
He said that he went this way.
He went down
10 stories?
10 stories.
Yeah.
But during the fall, he sobered up. But when he hit the ground, he didn't die. He became quadriplegic.
The dick cut off, motherfucker?
No. This the alcohol dude. That's what point being made is that you ain't gonna go until it's time to go.
Right, 100%.
So you think you killing yourself, it ain't happening.
But if you cut your dick off and you survive that, that's the time to go.
Hold on. But so the idea is, was he sober when he jumped? And I had the chance to speak to him, right? I sent him a Quran. You know what I mean? I was like, I think, you might have to get into some studies, brother, and you know what? So anyway, I sent him the Quran.
Can't nobody hold you down off of that.
And then I said, let me ask you a question. And the question was, did you, when you jumped, was you? I said, yeah. He's like, for that moment, like it was, everything else was whatever it was. And he didn't read the story. And he said what happened in the story. But when he jumped, that was a moment of sobriety. And for me, that was like, now that's the.
When he jumped, when he cut his dick off, that wasn't the moment of sobriety?
It's after.
Okay.
You ever do some shit? You ever been fucked up?
Yeah. And
you do some shit, Like I had a really bad sexual thing. Mad. It was one of those sex nights. I was covered up. I kind of had like a blanket over me when we was going to room fucking girls. It was one of them like bad sex drug in your system. I'm fucking everybody tonight. Right?
I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
And you just going room to room,
going crazy.
Condom, no condom, motherfucker. I'm going hard body.
Against the grain.
But then there's that moment. Like, oh shit, I fucked up.
Right.
I know I fucked up.
Right.
And you get sober for about 30 seconds. And then the high kick back in, you go knock on the door.
You're like, yo, I'm alright, the dick back, the dick is back.
Like, I don't know where those loads went.
Anyway, that's it. But,
so he jumped, but didn't he glue his dick back on? And stitched it back on, right?
Did
they fixed it? It's all good? Bro.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I stopped following the story after that.
Yeah, that was after. But Jake,
I hope he's okay.
that joke, I was like, that was just.
Thank God for surgeons. Thank God for scientists. Thank God for miracle working.
That's like forever will be the most gangster shit you can do.
Wu-Tang.
Shove your dick up and say Wu-Tang?
That dude, Dave Chappelle.
Don't say that because people are gonna film it now. They're gonna world star it, hoping that Dave sees it.
I remember reading somewhere he was like, I've never heard of Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yes, he did say that.
And I was like, word.
From New York, April.
Climbs up to the second story to get the banana there, everybody gets shot. So not just the one that climbs up to the second floor, but everybody gets shot. So very quickly, the monkeys will start punishing newcomers that try to climb up to the second story because they don't want to get shot.
Hey everyone, in this episode, I interview Han Zhang to hear about his experiences working for Neuralink. A couple things to note about the structure of the episode are: one, the edits are made with the intent of improving the listener experience, and two, I think the questions become more and more interesting as the episode goes on, and I'm hoping that this will incentivize watching the entire way through. But if you're wanting to cheat the system, feel free to use the timestamps in the description. Hope you enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to Neuropod. For this week's episode, I'm really excited to have on Han Zhang. He's currently working at Celdon, but he's a former Neuralink full-time employee and was a microfabrication engineer. So I'm extremely excited to be having this conversation and interviewing him. I hope you guys are as well. So Han, do you mind introducing yourself a little bit and just giving some background for the folks who are listening?
Yeah, so I guess brief background. After graduation, I moved to the Bay Area and started working for a company called Neuralink, which I'm sure your audience knows about. There I worked as a microfabrication engineer, or on the microfabrication team, but sort of as a mixed background engineer. I did some mechanical engineering, some electrical engineering, ran some experiments and also some microfabrication as well. And then after that, I moved on to a smaller startup company, one that came out of the Illumina Accelerator. That company's name is Eldom, and that's where I currently work. And there I do similar skills, but for different applications. I build instruments and robotic systems for them. So very much still a mix of mechanical and electrical and software engineering. And then I can delve into my background before then as well.
Yeah, like a little bit of your involvement and your education at UBC.
Yeah, sounds good. So back when I was in school, I went to the University of British Columbia, and there I studied engineering physics. So this is sort of like a mixed program in the sense that it covers many different disciplines: physics, math, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. Sort of are the four major components of it. And I did the mechatronics specialization, and then I also minored in mathematics. So that's sort of what I studied in university, and then extracurricular activities. Back then, I helped run the UBC Mars Colony engineering team. Also did some international research opportunities in Germany, Singapore, and then helped also mentor incoming international students to the UBC campus.
That context is really nice and important to share, because a lot of these steps, although they may seem like beginner steps, I think they're instrumental in, number one, even just getting the job, and then number two, like performing well in that job. So do you mind sharing like how you think those two are related, and what you think are some of the most important things that you learned from those experiences are that translated to doing a full-time job at Neuralink?
I think certainly the education is almost directly relevant, because in engineering physics you learn a lot about the fundamental physics concepts that directly apply to microfabrication. The mechanical engineering classes and electrical engineering classes sort of allow you to build tools that serve those purposes or goals that the microfabrication team is trying to achieve. So those are the directly applicable sort of classroom concepts and theory and knowledge that led me to Neuralink. But then on top of that, the engineering physics program is sort of particular and special in that it has a lot of hands-on components. So it has 3 major project courses. One is this sort of second-year robotics course that goes through all summer, and then they also have 2 capstone projects. So it really, the program stresses not only a good sort of foundational theoretical understanding of scientific concepts, but also a lot of practiced experience with hands-on skills and applying that knowledge. So that helped me gain a lot of relevant project experience and engineering experience, which Neuralink directly found useful. Like, there were many times during the interview process where they asked me to elaborate on past project work, and they were curious about the past project work that I did. Neuralink is special in that it's a lot closer to a research organization than an industry, sort of your typical industry startup company. It has sort of very long-term goals, and that kind of makes it more like a research institute. And so a lot of the skills and experience that I gained working in these research institutes, building equipment for them, setting up experiments, running experiments, collecting data, and then inferring some sort of conclusion from that, that was also directly translatable to Neuralink. So that's sort of a long-winded explanation of how all that tied together to bring me to Neuralink.
One thing that I really want to do with the podcast is just try to inspire young folks and bring awareness to the possibilities that are out there with biotechnology, and basically showcase and demonstrate how much curiosity is needed in the space in order to make progress. It just feels like we know so little about the brain, but all these young folks that are potentially watching this or just going through school in some way, like, I want them to realize, okay, there's all this stuff that the brain does, but there's still a lot that we don't know. And we're kind of like at a point where a lot of it is being discovered. So any words of inspiration or encouragement that you could provide for those young folks would be great.
Firstly, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a lot that we are uncovering, still much more space to go. I think there's like comparisons where, like, if all of the knowledge surrounding the human brain is like a mile-long strip, we would only have covered the first few inches of it. So there's a lot more work to be done, but just from what we know, right, about the brain, there's already so many different potential applications. And Neuralink is just one company that's working on these sort of applications, right? The ability to restore certain functionalities to people that are disabled or have experienced strokes or other sorts of damage to parts of their brain. Restoring functionality and even enhancing functionality. These are sort of the 2 main areas that applications fall under. If you look at those sci-fi movies, if you know about movies like The Matrix, these sort of futures actually aren't that impossible. Like, a lot of the things that are presented in these sci-fi movies or shows like Black Mirror are in theory possible. And I think that that's something that's quite inspiring to me, is imagine if you could take the information from the brain and move it outside of the brain into some digital format and use it to control things, or use it to keep a record of your thoughts, or even compare it to other people's thoughts in a much more high fidelity manner. So meaning that your thoughts are translated. There's some loss of information when you transfer thoughts through words. There's not a perfect translation between my thoughts to words. Some people are better at explaining their thoughts than others. And then there's also not a perfect fidelity when my words are heard by the opposing party, the other person, because whatever information I'm trying to present, they may understand the word's definitions slightly differently than I do, or they may picture something different. We may picture something different when we say the same word. So there's some loss of information there, and then you have to encode the verbal things that you hear into information in your brain. So that sort of chain process and the losses along that chain make it so that verbal communication is actually inferior to many of the other potential forms of communication if you start to really dive into biotechnology, especially like neurotechnology and neuroengineering. There's a lot of exciting things that can be done today by pairing our capacities in digital technologies and computation with the human brain.
Yeah, so like super exciting. How much is out there, and just want more people to be exposed to it.
Right.
Okay, so I guess I'm curious about just talking more about Neuralink and your experience there. So you started in November 2018?
Yeah.
And then worked there for about a year.
Right.
Can you explain what you did as a microfabrication engineer?
When I was on the microfabrication team, I was one of the more, I think, generalist backgrounds. So my tasks varied quite widely. There was some microfabrication processes that I actually ran myself, and then I also did like chemical experiments, so building fluidics baths and playing around with different ways of metallization, forming sort of metal connector interconnects between the thin film electrodes and our actual silicon chips that do processing, mechanical engineering of jigs, and then a lot of PCB designs as well, and also flexible PCBs. And then some associated software to automate these sort of experiments.
Do you mind talking about the overall pace of work at Neuralink and the exposure to leadership that you had while you were there?
Pace of work very fast. So Neuralink moves quite fast. I think that's similar to Tesla as well. Like a lot of Elon's companies are known for being fast-paced. So one of the traits that they look for in individuals is mission-oriented or mission-first. So these are people that are very dedicated to the overall mission of the company, go-getter type of attitudes, right? Like if a problem comes up, you will find a way to overcome it or get around it. I think it also is a testament to the talent that the company has managed to collect. They have a lot of people that are able to, whenever they come up against a technical challenge, have the creativity and the flexibility and the resourcefulness and the tenacity to assemble resources to overcome that challenge. It's not like destructively fast-paced where we're just like recklessly, breaking things, move fast and break things. Yeah, that slogan doesn't really apply, I would say, at Neuralink. That slogan is very much a software company slogan. A software company, a mistake in your own code can be usually fixed. You can run it, you can compile it, run it, test it, and in the test suite it fails. Okay, you've made a mistake somewhere. You can just go back and fix it. It's not really a high cost unless it actually rolls out. Okay, then it's a high cost, but there's many steps before that. In mechanical engineering, if you send out a part for manufacturing and it has an error in it, you can't really fix that very easily. You have to probably redesign it and then send it out for manufacturing again, and that costs a lot of money and then a lot of time as well in the manufacturer remanufacturing and then shipping it again. So the costliness of a single mistake is, I think, much higher as you move from software to hardware. And as a result, because Neuralink works on not just hardware but really fine, fragile hardware, we're talking about like nanofabrication or microfabrication, like very thin film electrodes, the costliness of a single mistake can be very high, and therefore, despite Neuralink moving at a fast pace, it's also very, especially in the microfabrication team, very meticulous and systematic in how it does its work.
Did you see that progress or change throughout your time at Neuralink? Like, I guess like the day you left, did you feel like the work environment was substantially different from the day you joined?
In terms of the style of operation, the way we operated, that I think was fairly constant, at least within the microfabrication team. There was some team reorganizations, which is expected in a startup, but the microfabrication team I think was very consistent. It was very meticulous and systematic from the start when I was there, mainly due to the fact that like if you make an error in microfabrication, you send out, for example, a design, you get like a mask for lithography, and you made some errors in there. If you didn't even realize there was an error and you made like a bunch of wafers on it and then it showed up at the very end, that whole process could take like a month and then you would have to redo everything. It's very important that you don't make a mistake because that's a lot of time. 2 months or 1 month even is a lot of time.
I'm unfamiliar with what lithography is.
This is where you use light to write patterns onto usually some sort of material, photoresist, that is on a silicon wafer. And the whole point is that you start off with like a blank slab of silicon, usually in the form of a disk, which is usually referred to as a wafer. And then you're trying to write little features that are on the order of, depends on your application, but nanometers or microns in the case of Neuralink. Trying to pattern these sort of features onto the silicon. And then you're going to, after writing the features, you're going to take away some of the silicon. There's really 3 things that you do in microfabrication, right? There's patterning, where you write some sort of pattern, and then there's removal of material, etching, and then there's adding material, which is depositions. So you just do those sort of 3 steps in different orders, and then you use different materials, and that's essentially how, in a nutshell, all of the microfabrication devices are made. It's just some combination of those 3 steps over and over again, and with different materials. And so the lithography part is one way that you can pattern, you can write patterns onto silicon. Litho, I think, means stone. Graphy meaning write, so writing into stone, and you do this with light, lasers, so that you can get very fine features, because you can, focus light down to nanometers today.
I'm curious if the robot that would perform an implant surgery would also do some of this type of etching or any of these processes.
So Neuralink's surgery robot is highly specialized for surgery, and
Okay.
that's the only thing it does. And when it comes to microfabrication, it's probably very similar to what other people would use if they did microfabrication. So there's sort of an industry standard for what tools are used. A whole bunch of companies that make these sort of microfabrication machinery, they're in a lot of university clean rooms, they're in a lot of actual silicon foundries, and it's pretty standard across industry. So Neuralink would likely use those.
These wafers are being used for the writing of information to the brain, or reading of information to the brain, or both?
Both. There's sort of 2 different areas that microfabrication comes in. One is making those electrodes that go into the brain. So that would be used for reading and writing. That's sort of what Neuralink does in-house, because those are very particular to Neuralink. But then there's also sort of silicon chips, specialized silicon chips that Neuralink makes for data processing from the electrodes. There's sort of 2 microfabrication components. One is the silicon threads, the other is the actual chip that reads and processes and cleans up information, and both of them are used in reading and writing.
So can you remind me some of the other things that you said you worked on?
Microfabrication processes, building like just random rigs and such for some mechanical engineering there, and then PCBs, designing PCBs for experiments, test situations, and then fluidics baths.
Can you elaborate on the printed circuit boards and the fluidics?
Because we make a lot of like electrode designs, right? And we want to, test what's the signal quality from these electrodes, what kind of formulas work best, how long do they last? All of these are questions that we have to be able to answer about the electrodes that are made. The PCBs that I designed were to run through a whole bunch of electrical tests on these electrodes, testing their signal quality, resistance, variation, stuff like that. And then the fluidics baths, that was sort of when we were exploring how to make interconnects between silicon chips and thin film electrodes. There was many paths and metallizing a certain material, and that had to be done in the fluidics bath. And so that was where I designed the built fluidics bath and carried some experiments and quantified like how much metallization was happening and how essentially the quality of the metallization on this material, if this would be a suitable interconnect between the silicon chip and the electrodes.
My instinct is that Neuralink generally has the biggest challenge that engineers and Neuralink has is centered around material science. Do you think that's like the number one issue or number one like science or engineering related problems that they have?
There are sort of like a whole bunch of problems where like any one of them would make this technology not work. So in that sense, they are all in the same tier of like, if this doesn't get solved, this whole thing doesn't work. For the robotics team, how to get robots to very precisely move to a target on the brain and insert an electrode, because the brain is not a still object. The brain actually pulsates a little bit as you breathe. Being able to, in real time, detect the movement of the surface of the brain and compensate for that, and being able to insert electrode, that's certainly a challenge. Adjacent challenge to that would be being able to spot blood vessels in the brain and avoid those. Obviously, you don't want to puncture one of those if you're inserting an electrode. On the electrical engineering side, you're moving a lot of information, right? So you're reading from thousands of electrodes. Depending on the design, it could be tens of thousands of electrodes. Or more. If you're reading from that many electrodes and you want this device to sort of be compact and sit on someone's head, you're going to have to come up with a very clever silicon chip to be able to process that information, digitize it, because it comes as analog signals from the electrodes, digitize it, and not be very power hungry. Because if you are very power hungry, it's going to heat up that local region of the brain, and at best it'll be uncomfortable, and at worst it can actually cook tissue. So that's a problem. And I'm not saying that that's an actual problem we've run into. I'm just saying this is in general something that you have to be cognizant of. Pretty much on any domain, any team or domain that Neuralink touches on, there's big challenges in those domains. And so going back to microfabrication, material science, like you say, different materials have conductivity issues, stress and strain issues. You want these things to be flexible, so you're bending it. So you have to make sure that you choose materials that won't, for example, over time, if you bend it too many times, or if it moves back and forth, it hardens more, or it just breaks. So you don't want something super brittle. You have to worry about things like corrosion, because there's a lot of different chemicals floating around in the brain. You have ions, you have proteins, you have like a whole bunch of different things, and you have to be, your material that your electrodes are made out of has to be able to survive in that environment for years, and not only survive but also carry the same signal quality through all that time. You don't want it to drift, so it can't, not only does it have to survive, it has to remain relatively constant in form factor and electrical properties. And then at the same time, it has to be feasible to manufacture, so that also cuts down on the number of options. And then also, not only feasible to manufacture, but it has to work well, play nicely with the surgery robot, right? So you're sort of constrained there with like the types of designs that you can do that a robot can interface with, because it's not a surgeon that will be peeling these electrodes and sticking them in the brain. They're too small, and obviously you want to automate this eventually. So you have to design it in a way that a robot can, actually manipulate it physically. So yeah, there's big challenges there. And then on the software side, right, you get all this data stream from the brain. It just looks like a bunch of, I don't know if you've ever looked at these like neural recordings, but it just looks like a whole, many channels of like almost a flat line, but there's like clearly something happening there, like little spikes here and there. So how do you then make sense of that information? First off, you have to be able to take this raw data stream and be able to pick out when a neuron is firing. And that's already harder than one might expect because, you know, if you see what looks like a spike, how do you know that that's a spike versus your electrode just being degraded during surgery, for example, during implantation? Maybe it was stretched too much or damaged in some way. How do you know that that's not a signal issue or a noise issue rather than an actual genuine spike? So you have to have some software to be able to decide on that. And then after you decide it's a spike, how do you know that this is one spike from a nearby neuron versus like many spikes happening in the general background vicinity of the brain? So again, none of the things I'm saying are, you know, necessarily challenges that Neuralink is facing. I'm just saying that these are general things that are challenges when you're attempting something like a BMI. After you pick out what are spikes, then is the real hard problem, which is like, what do these spikes mean? How do you make meaningful information out of just random spikes on 3,000 channels? Like, what does a single neuron firing really even mean? It doesn't necessarily mean anything in and of itself. It's really the combinations of neurons firing that really gives you a lot more information. So using machine learning algorithms and stuff like that to be able to decode meaning from trains of neural data, that's also a huge challenge. And then that's only the engineering side, right? Then there's the biology side. The brain has like immune response system, it has scarring effects. It's an organ, it's not really meant to have things implanted into it. All of these things produce a lot of challenges with, like, for example, if scar tissue forms, then the live neurons get pushed away from the site of implantation, potentially. That could cause signal issues. Immune responses, or you may have weird things caking onto your electrode. You know, I'm just throwing things out there that could be potential challenges. You know, obviously surgery is not a trivial thing to do, so you have to make sure that you do that part right and not cause substantial risk to any patient that might be undergoing the surgery.
So I guess in summary, like that there are huge challenges ahead, and some that they're currently like working through.
A lot of the ones that I mentioned, they've actually already addressed and are no longer serious challenges. But I bring it up because it's you know, something to think about, just to illustrate how monumental of a challenge Neuralink is even attempting. Neuralink is one of those companies that is working on something that has challenges on so many different fronts. Any one of those challenges not working can torpedo the whole idea. This is really quite a feat. Like, if they pull this off, it would be quite an accomplishment because of just the not only the quantity but also the magnitude of the challenges that they're facing.
Can you explain the specific difference between the electrodes, the threads, and the channels?
A thread looks like it's like a single polymer thing that you can't really separate. And within a thread, there are many electrodes. So there are many sort of independent electrical paths within a single polymer thread. So one thread will carry many electrodes. There's many electrical pathways along that thread, and they terminate at different lengths along the thread, which means when that thread is implanted into the brain, those electrodes will sit at different depths in the brain, and so they will be hopefully reading from different neurons. So that's the difference between thread and electrode. And then typically what we call a channel is like basically correlates to one electrode. So we read from all of the electrode sites, and so each channel is just one reading, one signal train from one electrode.
Okay. And each of those channels is read and write capable.
There are ones that are read and write capable, and there are ones that are read capable. The eventual goal is to have both working.
If you had to describe what Neuralink's end product or service is, how would you describe what it is?
I think that there's like the super long-term goal, being able to digitize human consciousness, being able to control anything digital with your thoughts. I think in the sort of shorter term, next 5, 10, sort of 20 years, that sort of time frame, in our lifetimes, I guess, for sure in our lifetimes, I think we will see products that enable people who might have lost some functionality in the brain to be able to recover those lost functionalities and to be able to control computers, other sort of digital devices with their thoughts directly through the brain, and do that relatively well, like comparatively to a fully functioning adult, or even better.
Do you think it's possible that in the future Neuralink or some other company comes up with a way to use the information that they've been receiving to basically like train a neural net to eventually create like an artificial brain?
Just talking about BMI, brain-machine interfaces in general, I definitely think, personally, it's my personal opinion, that is the way that things will go, where we start making artificial brains. If you can digitize thoughts, and if you can record information, let's just say we get to the point where we're able to record information from all parts of the brain with very high fidelity. We can basically map meaning and thoughts from the brain with very high accuracy, right? It's very natural for me to imagine the next step being just building artificial brains and general intelligences that are based off of human brains. You might be making it from scratch, or you may even just be copying over someone's consciousness into a digital format. I think both of those are possibilities in the future, and I think that that's probably where BMI in general, like the whole industry, not Neuralink in particular necessarily, but the industry in particular will definitely be headed in that way. And which companies end up doing this? It may be a company that doesn't even exist today, but it also might also be Neuralink or some other company in that space.
It's fascinating to me, like how much the brain is able to do with such little energy versus like the world's biggest supercomputer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like requires tons of energy.
Yeah, the brain is definitely a very fascinating object. Who was it that said it's like the most informationally dense thing in the known universe? Something along those lines. But yeah, it is very impressive. That's why we study it. And the question really that I have in my mind that I'm not sure what the answer to this is like, can you ever get to something that is informationally more dense or compact electronically, digitally, compared to the brain? And would that ever be more energy efficient than the brain? Like, not necessarily the human brain, but basically the question is like, suppose you had a set of organic chemicals to play with and then another set of like silicon and metal atoms to play with, and you tried making brains out of these two Lego sets. Which Lego set at the end of the day would produce the most energy efficient computational device? Which one can produce the most informationally dense? And then which one can produce the best brain off of a combination of those two metrics, information dense and also energy efficient? And I'm not really sure personally which one of the two it would be, if it would be a biological system or a silicon metal sort of system.
With Neuralink, like the information that's being moved around in the brain is through electric signals and chemical signals too, right? So how do you foresee like future interactions with medical like drugs with the physical like electrical signals being read and written from the brain with Neuralink?
I think that Neuralink is probably not going to be doing anything on the drug side of things. Maybe they will. I'm not sure. The future is very much, dependent on progress the company makes, and it has a very large exploratory arm. There's a lot of things that are very research-like in Neuralink, so very exploratory. We know there are things that's what it means to take drugs, right? Like colloquially, there are drugs and chemicals that will affect the way the brain works, and some of them are therapeutic. And so I think more and more you're going to see an industry pop up around drug therapies to address mental health issues, mental disorders, other sorts of irregularities with brain function, that should be getting more and more sophisticated because right now, okay, for example, painkillers, right? You just take a bunch of painkillers and you just flood your brain with opiates, and that's how you kill the pain sensors. But perhaps there's a better way of doing that without triggering the addiction pathway in the brain. So I would expect drugs in the future to be much more sophisticated and be able to do certain things without triggering a whole bunch of negative side effects.
So at the end of the 2020 update event, they did like a roundtable in the room. They asked the same question of everybody, like, what's the thing you're most excited about for Neuralink working on it in the future? What would be your thing?
I think for me, it would probably be the ability to digitize the brain. So just upload my consciousness or some sort of digital equivalent to my brain onto the cloud, and then be able to, in a sense, free myself from this biological body. Not that I have any problems with my particular body, but the ability to like download my consciousness into any particular body anywhere is something that is really amazing, like inspiring as an idea, right? The ability to say, if I wanted to download myself into a drone and fly around, or a submarine and swim around, or if I wanted to visit Mount Everest and climb to the peak, rather than doing that in a human body, just literally port myself over to some stationary fixed robot planted on the peak of Mount Everest and just like look around, or live stream people's thoughts and experiences directly to my consciousness from wherever they are in the world. Freedom from the biological form is, I think, probably what I'm most looking forward to, but this is like way in the future.
That's a cool answer.
Yeah, and then there's other cool things like human hive minds, for example, that come about. So that's a whole another thing as well. That would be very interesting. These sort of super organisms that can form once you allow like an internet or a network of human brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to like have all of them basically connected in some way or another.
Yeah, basically, and I, it gets dystopian very fast because it's like, well, there's sort of emergent phenomena when you connect things, right? There's like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this experiment where like they have like 4 chimps or 4 monkeys, and then like if a monkey goes up into a second, there's like a 2-story environment, and if they climb up to the second story to get a banana there, they get shocked. And if they get a banana on the first floor, everything's fine. They slowly replace these monkeys one by one. Whoever climbs up to the second story to get the banana there, everybody gets shocked. So not just the one that climbs up to the second floor, but everybody gets shocked. So very quickly, the monkeys will start punishing newcomers that try to climb up to the second story because they don't want to get shocked. And eventually, when you replace all 4 monkeys one at a time, so that there's some ability for the other 3 to teach the newcomer not to do that, when you replace all 4 original monkeys and you take away the shock mechanism, they still punish every monkey from going to the second floor, even though there's no cost to it anymore. So these sort of like network effects that happen from different independent agents inflicting punishment or reward on each other in an environment of imperfect information and assumptions, there can be a lot of emergent phenomena that are very dystopian, very unexpected, and very persistent that have nothing to do with truth or anyone's individual beliefs. There's a lot of very interesting, both potentially very dangerous and potentially very rewarding things, I think, in the future for BMI.
Yeah, that story like perfectly illustrates that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having this conversation. I'm sure like everybody's looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for doing this, and hopefully we can talk again sometime soon.
Yeah. Look forward to it. All right.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Medium for updates and highlight clips. Hope to see you at the next episode.
Captain of the Bronx High School of Science wrestling team, and is the author of the book that we're honoring tonight, Death by Black Hole and Other Cosmic Quandaries, which is now in paperback by Norton Press. So if you're wondering what a cosmic quandary is, before Neil comes in, I'll pose you 3 pseudo-cosmic quandaries. What is the highest spot on Earth? And the answer is not Mount Everest. A scoop of which planet, if you scoop a piece of it, will float into your in your bathtub. Why is the statue of Atlas carrying the world on Fifth Avenue across from St. Patrick's Cathedral at Rockefeller Center, that Atlas, why is that statue suddenly more accurate?
Maybe so. White suburbanite yuppies about why.
And I understand.
Again, dude. No, I'm sorry. You guys come at me. Come at me. Okay?
Do you mind if I just ask him real quick? I won't be right back. Do you know his name? I'll be right back, okay? What, you grab a seat?
No, not really.
Okay, well, just because I noticed that you were yelling and protesting, I thought maybe you had some opinions that you'd like to voice.
No, that's what you want.
Yeah, well, we actually have a lady there who disagrees with me on probably nearly everything, but we're having a productive discussion. Why do you think you can't?
Productive discussion where you make all the questions and she has to unpack all the questions.
No.
Oh, really?
Would you like to ask me questions?
Really?
Yeah, would you like to ask me questions? You can sit down right after Maddie.
Here's the question. Why are you a mouthpiece for the alt-right?
What's the alt?
Why are you a gateway point for alt-right politics?
How so?
Oh, how so? How so?
Dude, I listen to Stephen all the time and I'm not. Okay?
No, you're a Nazi. Remember? He's one of those notorious black Nazis. I don't understand the question. Let me ask this. You said you watched the program. I don't know where you line up. Would you consider me alt-right? I mean, would you consider me? Is that implying I'm a racist? Would you consider anything I've done racist? No. So what does that mean, alt-right? I don't understand the accusation.
It means the people like you, Ben Shapiro, what's his name?
Ben Shapiro is Jewish.
Ben Shapiro is Jewish.
Oh, he's Jewish.
Yes,
Right,
Ben Shapiro won't
yes.
turn on a light switch after Friday at 6 p.m. because he's so Jewish. You think he's an alt-right Nazi?
Well, considering that he supports a genocidal apartheid state, yes, I would say he is a Nazi.
Genocide? You mean like eugenics? Like we're talking about here abortion? We went to a Planned Parenthood and Margaret's thing?
No. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Oh, really?
Oh, do you mean that the Jew supports Israel's right to exist and that's what makes him an alt-right Nazi?
Oh, right, yeah, they're right to exist. Okay, sure. A bunch of white Europeans coming into a place I haven't been to in thousands of years. It's all they have the birthright.
Are you talking about Jews?
They have the birthright to discriminate against Palestinian Jews, Christians, Ethiopians, Armenians. Oh yeah, oh right, yes. The state of Israel, the representative of the monolith of Judea. Right, of course.
Well, no, I was only addressing your point that he's an alt-right Nazi. But Palestinian Muslims have it better in Israel than Palestinian Muslims in Palestine. But why are you protesting? Why are you protesting me and not sitting? You want to come on over and sit down.
Condemning Israel of shooting.
What's your name, sir?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just. No, I'm not gonna. Okay, would you like to come and sit down? You have to give your name.
Not really.
Hey, listen. Here's the thing.
See, I don't want to give out names to all you.
No, listen. You don't have to. No, you don't have to give up your name. But I do think that if you're going to shout out accusations and disrupt conversation that's occurring, that's productive dialogue.
I'm not.
I do think.
I'm here to shut down your book.
You're here to shut me down. So, hold on a second. Hey, Maddie, we'll be right back. It's going to be a little longer than I anticipated, but I promise we'll be right back. You're here to shut down conversation. You believe that the right thing to do is shut down people who disagree with you.
People who support violence.
What? Can you finish a can you finish a phrase? Did you just have a stroke? Listen, I don't mean to be insulting here, but just make a point.
I'm speaking on this scale.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a bit nervous here.
How about you come step down here and we can talk? I'm literally, you're on a pedestal compared to me.
Oh yes. Oh, you're on a pedestal with you all the cameras and all.
What?
You support. Okay.
I support violent what? What gives you the right to shut down a conversation?
Okay, how about for one, this whole book, pro-life, when it's really about denying health care to lower class women. That is what it's about. That is what it is. That's about defunding Planned Parenthood. It's about defunding health care for the people who most need it. You have no access.
I was pro-life violence. What are you talking about?
Oh,
I don't follow. You said violence. You said I support violence. What? What do I support? I support violence what? You are justifying your shutting down of conversations. We've had conversations with plenty of people who disagree with me. They don't all act like you though. They act like they act more grown up.
All grown up. And then yeah, they act grown up so they can be on your little show and make you thousands of views and sell your little t-shirts.
Maybe you're selling t-shirts. Would you like one? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, so you don't have any merchandise? You don't have any merchandise?
You're not selling any t-shirts. We're looking at
No, I'm not saying right here. I'm not saying right here.
Okay.
No, so you don't sell any merchandise, right? No, it's like unlike any of your other
this is all a ploy by Big Merchandise.
Oh, Big Merchandise.
Here's one thing. Let me ask you. I think it's great, Tony. You said I am not here to talk. I am not here to express my opinion. This is what you said. I am here to shut down your conversation.
Oh yes, the intolerant left coming down. Yes, that's exactly what's happening here, Budge.
Is it not?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Do you not see it as intolerant to shut down one's conversation?
Oh yes, so intolerant to shut down the conversation that represents the status quo of the liberal and conservative establishment.
The whole reason you're upset and you have a whole bunch of people there is because on college campus, expressing a right-wing point of view is not status quo, brother.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, it is. All the the Cloaking Club, TVSA, all funded by University.
You can do whatever you want. I would never try and shut down your speech. Here's what I would ask you though. If you could please let me finish my dialogue with Maddie, just don't shut down her speech.
Sure.
And if you want to come sit down, you can come sit down, okay?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay? Is that okay? Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I gotta go back to... Hopefully Maddie's still there.
I love my Squarespace site's simple and beautiful design.
Louder with Crowder.
Police are giving an update on yesterday's deadly shooting where at least 4 people died, including a young child. Let's listen in here.
Dan Adams, Orange Police Chief Tom Casella, Orange Mayor Mark Murphy, and Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer. To start, I will be recapping the tragic event that occurred last night, and I will be providing additional information that has become available. Last night at approximately 5:30 p.m., the Orange Police Department received multiple calls of shots fired in the area of 200 West Lincoln in the city of Orange. Officers arrived on scene and determined shots were actively being fired in the business complex at 202 West Lincoln. Officers immediately approached the building, however were unable to enter the courtyard due to the fact the gates had been locked from the inside. It appears the suspect used a bicycle-type cable lock to secure the gates from the inside.
What the fuck?
On both the north and the south sides of
this
the
motherfucker
courtyard.
done locked people in somewhere?
2 officers engaged the suspect from outside of the gates and an officer-involved shooting occurred.
Oh, wow.
Officers were able to force entry through the gates and entered the courtyard. Upon entry, officers located a suspect who was injured and he was taken into custody. Additionally, officers located 2 victims in the courtyard area, one of which was a 9-year-old boy who was deceased. An adult female who had also been shot was found with the boy. Officers immediately rendered aid to her. That female victim, along with the suspect, were each transported to a local hospital where they both remain in critical but stable condition. Officers then quickly began a systematic search of the business complex and
Do not pay full price on your next iPhone. Capital One Shopping compares prices with other Apple retailers to...
Breaking tonight, a mass shooting at an Orange County office building. 4 people are dead, including a child. Another person is critically wounded. The suspect in custody. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand is live at the scene with the breaking details and new video. Jory.
David, police describing this as a tragic situation. It's the kind of shooting not seen in these parts in many, many years. 6 people shot, 4 people dead, 2 more people clinging to life. Police say this spanned 2 levels of an office building, and family members are left praying their loved ones are not involved.
There you go, guys. That's a dead body right there.
Tonight, 4 people are dead, 2 others wounded in the city of Orange, the largest mass shooting this city has seen in nearly a quarter century. And one of those dead was a child.
upon arrival, the officers discovered shots that were actively being fired, and our officers did engage in an officer-involved shooting. Upon entering the business and in the area, they have discovered 4 victims that are deceased on the location.
Mo Reyes was about to go out to dinner with his wife when the gunfire broke out across Lincoln Avenue. He hid behind a stone wall and pulled out his phone.
There was about 10 gunshots. The cops are running right there. Look at that. I saw like 5 officers running down. I heard another gunshot, so I stood behind the wall and just started kind of recording, you know.
He says more than 10 shots were fired. Another witness says the shots came in bursts.
So the police came, and then I heard a few more gunshots go off, and then there was like a lot quickly.
Mo was still broadcasting live on Facebook when someone who had been shot was dragged out. Paramedics worked on them and loaded them into an ambulance. Police say a gun was recovered on scene. You can see it lying there on the ground amid bloody items of clothing. We don't know the identities of the victims or the shooter, but Paul Tovar's brother owns a business on the property.
I'm just trying to find out his well-being. He's not answering phone, he's on knees. I'm pretty scared and worried. I wish I knew more. I don't know. Right now, I'm just training really hard.
Multiple agencies are now investigating this, including the Orange County District Attorney, and federal investigators are also on scene here. We expect to learn more about the victims, including that child, at a briefing tomorrow morning. By the way, the last mass shooting of this scope that happened in the city of Orange was back in 1997 when a state employee killed 4 members of employees at Caltrans. That shooter was also shot and killed by police in that shooting. An officer in that case was shot. We're waiting to learn more about the victims in this case.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.
Trying to figure out how to start an online business or how to get people to actually buy from you over the internet, I have some really good news for you that I think you're going to find really encouraging and super useful if your goal is to reach the 6 or even 7-figure level online. My name is Brian Moran, and I'm one of the co-founders at Samcart.
Heard a bunch of popping, and I went outside, and sure enough, somebody was shooting over there at the office building.
Breaking news now at 11. 4 people shot to death, including a child, at an office building in the city of Orange. The gunfire is still going on when officers got there, and the gunman, they say, was injured in a shootout. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Chuck Henry. A fifth person, a woman, was rushed to the hospital tonight in critical condition.
Now we have two reporters on scene there. Let's begin right now with NBC4's Beverly White, live with some new information about that shooting. Beverly.
That's right, Colleen. Tonight you can see the images from News Chopper 4 overhead. It's going to be a long night for this multi-agency investigation here in the city of Orange. We learned late tonight the gunman actually tried to kill 5 people, but a woman he shot did not die. Police also tell us they recovered a weapon once the shots were over here at the crime scene at 200 West Lincoln. News Chopper 4 overhead, where at least 2 bodies of shooting victims could be seen. We've blurred their images in a courtyard and on a balcony. Neighbors describe hearing the mass shooting around 5:30 p.m. in which 4 people, including a child, were killed.
I heard about 5 to 7 gunshots go off, and then waited a couple minutes, and then the police came, and then I heard a few more gunshots go off, and then there was like a lot. Quickly,
Orange police flooded the office building where on the 2nd floor we're told they found an active shooter.
Our officers did respond and upon arrival encountered active gunshots being fired.
Police shot and injured the gunman. They say he had wounded a 5th victim. Both were taken to the hospital in critical condition as more agencies, including the DA, joined the investigation. Roadblocks remain as LaSalle and Lincoln fell quiet.
The scene is safe. There is no current danger to the public.
Police have yet to say what business was involved or why a child was on the premises. Signs indicate there's a counseling center here. This man fears his brother's real estate firm is involved.
I'm just trying to find out his well-being. He's not answering 20 meters on knees. I'm pretty scared and worried. I wish I knew more.
And it's just such a tragedy for the victims, their families, our community, and our police department. So our condolences, thoughts and prayers go out to all of them.
Any concerned families are advised to visit the police station on Batavia, where detectives are standing by for assistance. An update is planned tomorrow morning at that same location at 10 a.m. The lieutenant tonight admitting she doesn't know a lot about what happened here. Reporting live in Orange, I'm Beverly White, NBC4 News.
All right, thank you, Beverly. And Jonathan Gonzalez is also live at this very active crime scene in Orange tonight.
He's hearing from people who live in the area, shaken by everything that has happened. Jonathan?
And Colleen, the people who live here are heartbroken. They're devastated. They're every word in the book that you can have to describe how they feel, knowing that this shooting happened right across the street from where they live, that 4 people lost their lives there today. I'm going to move out of the way so you can see what's going on right now. A very active police investigation. Again, we're right across the street. That is the building where this shooting happened. You see the lights on upstairs. That is one of the businesses here. We've seen detectives go in and out of there within the last 30 minutes, though it's unclear if that is exactly where the shooting happened. Now, this building, again, sits across from a row of apartment buildings where a lot of people live. Some telling me they came home to find this scene. Others said they were home at the time. A lot of them just stunned and heartbroken. They say they go by this building often. Some of them even frequent some of the businesses there. Many of the people who live here heard the shots. Some even saw the aftermath.
The building right over there, 202, there was a shooting. I think 3 women got shot, and then the police gunned down the shooter.
And we just started hearing gunshots. We knew exactly what they were within seconds. You know, I knew it wasn't the TV. I knew it wasn't my neighbor's TV. I just knew. But you don't hear about mass shootings like right in Orange. That just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen here.
And we want to be clear, police have not released the genders or names of the 4 victims, the 4 who died. They also said, well, the suspected shooter did suffer a gunshot wound. They're still trying to figure out if he was shot by police officers or if that gunshot was self-inflicted. As for the people who live here, they are likely going to wake up to this exact same scene. When they wake up tomorrow morning, they're going to come out and see a lot of these officers and investigators out here. They're going to be out here through the night. We can tell you that just within the last 30 minutes, we've seen people finally leave the parking lot. There were cars still in this parking lot from the people who were at these businesses when that shooting happened around 5:30. But we can tell you a lot of people told us they heard the shots, that their children even heard the shots, and those are memories that are just not going to go away anytime soon. Colleen and Chuck, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Emix is a cutting-edge robotics company
that spent decades behind closed doors making robots that move in ways we've only seen in science fiction films. They occasionally release videos on YouTube of their lifelike machines spinning, somersaulting, or sprinting, which are greeted with fascination and fear. We've been trying without any luck to get into Boston Dynamics workshop for years, and a few weeks ago they finally agreed to let us in. After working out strict COVID protocols, we went to Massachusetts to see how they make robots do the unimaginable.
The story will continue in a moment.
From the outside, Boston Dynamics headquarters looks pretty normal.
If you are searching for the right keywords, you should try Keyword Magic Tool by SEMrush.
Yeah. Who knew? What's going on, folks? Down here at the shops. Yes. Down here at the shops, decided to get out. Now, last night it was 90 degrees, right? What's going on? It was 90 degrees last night.
And it's 70 now. But you gotta keep your cool no matter what. But this is what we're doing. We're getting gelato. It's what I call a light dinner.
Yes, sir.
Right. Uh-huh. Call this a light dinner, man. It's ought to be interesting. Then we're gonna go upstairs and kind of hang out. That's what we're gonna do. So, turn that up. Who knew? So, Soup Saturday, who took advantage? If you took advantage of Soup Saturday, let me know.
If I may, complimentary free to enjoy. It's a raspberry mushroom.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome for that.
Appreciate everywhere I go. Told you, man. Hi. Say hi. Say hi. I don't know if they catch you. Did they get you? There you go. All right, thank you. See, if you smile where you go, people tend to be nice to you. Who knew, right? Who knew? Guys, who's that? Jim? What's going on, Jim? So, if you didn't get a chance to go out on Soup Saturday, are you going to get out? Are you going to get out and go to patio Sunday?
Who are you? Are you famous?
I'm not famous, I'm just a guy.
Famous? Okay, let me see.
I'm just a guy.
You're just a guy, it's possible. You're being alive. I see. How many?
Come on.
Okay, 15. Already 15.
There are more people on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Come on. Hi.
Hello. Olá. Boa noite do Brasil.
Brazil?
Hi.
Oh, this is going to be fun. A lot of these guys on YouTube are going over to Brazil.
I like your glasses.
Uh-oh. There you go.
And now.
It's good to be the king.
Right? I look good.
Yeah, you do.
Who looks better?
They're going to say you. I mean, you want to try them on?
Yeah, she already tried.
Oh, she's selfish, right?
So here, so she's on a diet. What do you have?
I don't know. Passion fruit.
Passion
mango.
fruit. You're healthy.
Yeah. So
I have some coconut and chocolate stuff.
See? Look good. Frames, fragrance, and footwear. Always take that. What are you guys doing up this?
Sorry?
You going upstairs?
No, we were there.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to the region.
The region?
So, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not from here.
We are from
Yes.
New York.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I'm going to put you on that. Believe it or not, Oklahoma.
Right. You're so stylish. Yeah, you are. We're from New York.
No, but I live in New York for a minute, but hey, what you got? So the region, is that a hospital?
Like 3 minutes.
3 minutes? How much time is it closed?
I go later than the exhibition.
Okay. Well, I may need to go there because it looks like things are going to close up there in a minute.
Just take a look there.
Yeah.
It's very crowded. Yeah. It's really good. You know, we had a great dinner there. But now we are looking for some drinks. Something else. Fun. More drinks.
We're looking for fun.
Drinks.
I'll be talking to you guys later. I may see you guys over there.
Yeah, okay.
Your first name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie?
Andresa.
Andresa.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Andresa. Nice to meet you. See you. Say bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
See you, bye, bye. time to go to Brazil, right? Yeah. So they're right here. They're like, let's go to Brazil. Really. Nice to meet you. See you later.
Making pieces available on my online store has helped me sustain my practice. It allows me to launch new
It's been like that all weekend. It's the soup, man. I'm telling you, it's been like that all weekend. I mean, I guess the guys here must be just on extra stupid. I mean, okay, I'm not bullshitting. It has been that way all weekend. Everywhere you go, it's like, hey, how you doing? You guys thought C Boogie was kidding, huh? It's official, you moving to Atlanta? Yeah, man. Apparently, brothers don't really dress up or do anything down here. Because the brothers are, could you imagine what it'd be like if you actually put on a suit and came down here all the time? He's like, are you famous? Are you famous? Mm-mm. They weren't here for free gigs, bro. This chicks are from Brazil. So that's from New York. Huh. Oh, you from New York? That's classic. We gotta put that on YouTube, right? You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up, I swear to God. I'm changing my wardrobe. So you guys thought I was kidding. I'm telling you. I'm down at the shops at Buckhead in Atlanta. Hello. Shop at the shops at Buckhead. I'm just in here, a little gelato place, grabbing something. I'm gonna tell you, down here, there's just been packs of rolling women. If I had my camera on, you wouldn't believe it. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. If I had my camera on, you guys would think we don't like the fact that I'm eating healthy. Yeah, man, this is my dinner. I'm having a light snack. Gelato. And so last night I said the manager brought my dinner. Kind of cool, man. This is why I always say be nice to people. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to go upstairs. And then from upstairs, then see what's going on up there. And then I guess I'll go over to the cocktail place. I don't know where I'm at. I'm not from here. You too, buddy. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. What's going on, Greg? I was your homegirl at Neiman Marcus. What's her name? Oh my.
If you ever wanted to know what $21,000 looks like in a single month, this is what it looks like.
Oh my. I gotta go try that. Are the doors locked? It was locked? Go ahead. Because now is it open? Oh, time to leave?
No, please enjoy it.
Okay.
As much as you want.
Okay, well. Okay, well, I don't want to have you people tied up. I'm going to go ahead and eat this and leave. All right. Leave it for her. Okay. All right. No problem. Hold on, guys. Turn it back around. Sorry about that. Wow. So, we're going to go upstairs in a minute and hang out. It's kind of dark up there, though. So, you're right. Go hang. Okay, so when I saw that place to hang out any place where they have valet parking and sorbet. Especially in the summertime. You know my life. Okay. Give me a few minutes and I'll be back. Who knew? The 3F Club, right? Frames, fragrance, and footwear. I hope this stream saves. But okay. Check you in a minute, guys. Peace out.
It's so stupid, it's positively brilliant.
Family is great at what he does.
You can see the love steps are high and he's good.
I'm saying the best student should be the one who gets into school.
I agree. So again, we go back to the beginning of this thing. I said it's not racist. And now I'm thinking maybe it could be.
Here is the latest installment of Change My Mind, where we all citizens have the right, law-abiding citizens, to keep and bear arms. That's what it was designed to do. You are proposing giving the government the very fail-safe it's designed against, to protect against a tyrannical government. You're saying, let's give the government the authority to strip people of rights. That's like a feedback loop of just a violation of human rights on a scale that I don't think you might know.
You personally, do you think having the right to free speech is more important than having the right to a gun?
No.
You think they're both equally important?
Yes.
So you think, like, for the development of our country, it's essential to have guns and free speech, and you think they're on the same level and a scale?
I think the right to own and keep
firearms. So it's more like a right thing?
Yes.
For you? Okay. Well, I mean, why is it just America that we have tens of thousands of deaths per year?
It's not.
I mean, it is on it. If you look at statistics.
No, we're not even top 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're not even top 25 when it comes to firearm deaths. We are the most armed populace, but we're not even the top country for mass shootings. Matter of fact, we're behind Norway and France, even though more people here have guns.
I don't know. I've never heard of these statistics before, honestly. I don't know where you get yours from, because all of the ones that I've seen show that America's always topping that list.
Okay. Well, let's say we're able to show you statistics afterward. Let's assume that those are correct. Okay. It still doesn't get to the question. Let's assume none of them are correct. What gives you the right, or what gives anyone here the right, to strip someone of their ability to protect themselves?
So why don't we dissect that a little? What are we protecting ourselves from? I know you mentioned it from internal and external threats. So what are those threats?
Tyrannical government.
Okay, we went from, yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, the ability to protect yourself from anyone who wants to do you harm, from evil people who are willing to commit harm.
I mean, I don't know why that should, have anything to do with being able to own an assault rifle or an automatic machine gun or anything like that.
Okay, first off, a couple things there. What's an assault rifle?
Like one of them really large guns.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. No, it's not. And, yeah, I know. I mean, so you mentioned a few things. Where do you get your news from? Forgive me, or your sources? What do you usually read?
CNN, Twitter.
CNN, Twitter, and a lot of professors probably here.
Probably, right.
Everything that you have said here, and I said respectfully, is incorrect. About the Australia buyback, the statistics about that, about the Second Amendment, now about assault rifles and automatic weapons. None of the shootings that you've discussed, that we've discussed here, involved automatic weapons. Certainly not in Florida. These are not automatic weapons. Automatic weapons are already heavily regulated. They're basically all but unattainable for the average.
What is it Las Vegas guy used?
Yeah, he used semi-automatic weapons.
So semi-automatic. And switch that word. What about that? Why do people need to have that? I'm sorry, I don't know, but...
Do you want to explain to you what the difference is? Because that's really important. Don't you think? Because you said, here's something, and I appreciate you sitting down. But you sat down here, and you were willing to strip people of their rights. You were willing to say, listen, it's time to progress as a country, which I'll get to in a second, will cause countless more muggings, murders, rapes of innocent people, the likes of which you've never even been able to comprehend and didn't take into account. You were willing to remove the right of those innocent civilians to protect themselves based on completely faulty data and knowledge of things that simply aren't so. There's a huge difference between an automatic weapon, that's a machine gun, and a semi-automatic weapon. A semi-automatic weapon is every handgun. Pull the trigger once, it goes bang. That's a semi-automatic weapon. That's most hunting rifles. That's nearly all handguns that are used for self-defense. So my point is, if and I say this respectfully because a lot of people who sat down, so this is not an insult, but almost everything that you just said is incorrect as a premise. And you were using that, or going on based on that knowledge, to justify the stripping of someone's ability to protect themselves. I think you're an empathetic person who wants to save lives, right? And I'm just trying to tell you that first off, you can't save every life, right? That's where I believe you're coming from. I don't believe in ascribing a motive. You know, you see this right now at the CNN town hall. Why don't you care about the lives lost? No, why don't these people care about the lives saved? I mean, a good example is we don't hear about. Remember the Sutherland Springs shooting? That was right here in Texas. You know what happened there, right? Does the name Stephen Williford mean anything to you?
No.
Okay. So I have a show called Lotto with Crowder.
Okay.
Stephen Williford was someone I interviewed on my show. Okay. This was after you remember the Sutherland Springs shooting?
I've heard of it. I don't remember exactly.
Far more people than the one in Florida.
Okay.
Deadly shooting. Sutherland Springs, just outside of San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Sutherland Springs.
Sutherland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sutherland Springs? Yeah, Sutherland. Sorry, I said Sutherland because it's Stephen Williford. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So this was a very deadly shooting that occurred at a church. This was within the last 4 months. Now, I'm sure you've seen all the press, obviously, after Florida, boycott the NRA, gun control now, CNN town hall. Stephen Williford is someone we interviewed on our show. Okay? The reason I interviewed him on our show, this lowly little podcast, was because no one else was really even calling him. No one else really wanted to hear his story. Do you know who Stephen Williford is? No. He's the man who stopped the active shooter with an AR-15.
Okay.
It was a man shooting up a church. An evil man shooting up a church. And Stephen Williford, who is a hero, shot him with an AR-15. He stopped it.
So are you saying like everyone should get an AR-15?
No, I'm not saying everyone should get an AR-15. What I am saying is you say you have your facts and you have your data and then you acknowledge that perhaps you're misinformed on some of these issues. You mentioned CNN.
Okay.
Why didn't CNN have Stephen Williford? This was a more deadly shooting carried out against a church here in Texas. Stephen Williford, he wasn't some kid who happened to be maybe even a different wing of the school or wasn't even there that day. This was the man who personally stopped the active shooter. You don't even know his name. So that maybe illuminate that there's a bias in today's media that isn't giving you the full story. And if you don't believe me on anything, you can go watch my interview with Stephen Williford, and you can go Google Sutherland Springs shooting and Stephen Williford. It was an unbelievably deadly shooting, and he stopped it with an AR-15.
I mean, I still go back to my initial thing, like more guns equals more deaths by gun. Like, you can't tell me that's incorrect.
It is incorrect.
How?
I get it. More lives are saved by firearms. More lives are saved by defensive uses of firearms. And there is no statistical data to suggest you started with, let's just get rid of the Second Amendment. Maybe let's get rid of automatics. Okay. And maybe semi-automatics. So again, either way, and I think what we found here is no matter any way you slice it, for you to change it, you have to do away with the Second Amendment and ban guns. It's not about automatic, it's not about a bump stock, it's semi-automatic, now it's all guns. People either have the right to protect themselves or they don't. And there is no data to say that stripping people of the right to self-protection would make us safer. Matter of fact, there is some data that suggests otherwise. New York, Chicago, places with California, also places with very strict gun laws, it's the most violent gun crime in the country.
Okay. I understand. I guess it makes it look like I'm saying that guns don't protect people, guns are this and that, and like all they bring is harm. But I'm saying that I still believe, like until I look at those statistics that you're talking about, I still fully believe that more access to guns is going to lead to more psychotic people getting, through the system that we currently have. I mean, at least you would have to agree that we need some type of change with regards to regulation. You can't tell me we're fine and we're doing okay and
I certainly do away with some things. For example, I would do away with 30-day waiting periods for firearms.
Okay.
I'd do away with that. I would do away with people not being able to purchase suppressors for hunting. I believe it'd be more safe that people can.
So you just think we shouldn't limit the type of audience that gets access to guns?
No, we already do.
You don't think we don't need any more of a limitation? Like, okay, so let me ask you, what ways or what avenues can we take to ensure that things like Las Vegas won't happen again?
You can never ensure that things like Las Vegas won't happen.
Or at least that bad.
All you can do, here's the thing, and we talked about this on the program not long ago. Human beings commit horrible acts of evil. Okay? You can never stop them from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You ban guns in Australia, violent crime is the same. In the UK, violent crime has gone up. People find a way. Look at we're actually.
So I mean, and you
there are shootings in France. Look at Nice. Look at what's happening. Look at the terrorists. You can't stop it.
Does UK have more gun deaths than we do? I'm pretty sure they don't.
They have more violent crime. Now here's something else that's also important. Comparing violent crime statistics across countries is very difficult because they have different standards of violent crime. Look at the United States. Places with the strictest gun laws have some of the worst gun crime. Now, as far as I'm not so concerned with just gun crime. I'm concerned with violent crime.
Okay.
Violent crime. There is a statistical correlation between violent crime increasing and populaces being unarmed, being stripped of the ability to protect themselves. You even look at states where people carry firearms, or people are more likely to carry arms freely. They're less likely to be targeted, less likely to be attacked. There is often lower violent crime. So there are plenty of statistical correlations there. No one is saying that we are perfect, but I think human evil, I think we both acknowledge evil is part of the human condition. You have some evil in you, so do I. People have evil in them, people have good in them. I believe all people have all of the above. So people will commit, people who get overrun with evil, they will commit acts of evil. It comes down to what's the best way to prevent that. Either you believe in disarming all good people, and also doing away with the Constitution and the rights that afford us everything else, such as the ability to peaceably assemble and speak freely, or you believe that allowing good people to protect themselves is a solution.
But I had another concept that I was a misconception I had before I moved out here. I thought all gay guys was flamboyant. So I thought all gay dudes were flamboyant, man, and come find out they not. They come all different types. Some of them act just like me, talk just like me. You will never know it. I didn't know. I went on a gay date and I didn't know it. Like, wait, hold on, let me tell you what happened first. I'm not gay, I'm just gonna let you know what happened. Because I didn't know he act like me, talk just like me. I play a lot of basketball. I was gonna go to the NBA. I'm like, no, I'm gonna let LeBron have it. I'm gonna do these jokes at the Laugh Factory. That's how I'm doing comedy. I'm the hoop. So long story, I'm hooping one day. I don't know if you go to open runs for, men and women, open gym. You pick your five, somebody else pick their five, the winner stay on. So I'm at the gym. In Hollywood, I'm at the gym. This dude, 6'5", walk in. I'm like, oh, he on my squad, off back. You know what I mean? He gets on the court, we don't lose a game. This boy is special. You ever see somebody playing regular basketball, you're like, you don't belong here. Why you not somewhere making millions? You are too gifted to be with us. And he was that good. I'm throwing him oopsie, jumping out. This boy is cold. Dang, this boy is nice. And I'm a a basketball fan. Understand, that's what I wanted to do. But I go ahead and let them have that. I'm here. So when I see him, I'm intrigued. I'm like, man, I need to let him play with me in the leagues, in the little, adult leagues. So after the run, I'm like, hey, bro, you nice, man. I'm like, you played professionally? He's like, yeah, I did. Played overseas. I don't play no more. He's like, hey, what you doing later? Nothing. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing. He's like, hey, I got Laker tickets. Put your number in his phone. You can roll. You want to roll? Yes, I want to go. Yeah. I'm going, bro. You Laker tickets right now. You're like, where you want me to be? So he give me the phone. I put my number in his phone. Is it Samsung? I don't know how it works. He's like, cool, I'm gonna come pick you up. I'm like, and you gonna pick me up? Do you know how much gas costs? I will be ready. I will be there. He gets to the house, he texts me like, hey bro, I'm downstairs. I'm like, man, I'm still getting dressed. I'll be down in a minute. He got there early. He come get me, man. I come downstairs and he had the new Tahoe truck. I don't know if y'all seen the new Tahoe truck, but it's a nice truck. And when I came downstairs, the passenger door was open. But he was in the car seat. But I'm like, man, the technology getting out of hand. They got a button that can open the passenger door is what I'm thinking. I don't know if you've been in the new Tahoe trucks, but when I got in the chairs are really big. So if you're not really a heavy set person, like it really consumes you. Like you're like, oh, it kind of hugs you. I was in the chair like, oh, this is nice. This is. You like that? I'm like, yes, this is a nice. This is really nice. This is a nice. You got a nice car. This is a great purchase. It is. Lonnie, I'm gonna finish it. Please forgive me. So we get to the game. I'm thinking we'll have some decent seats. When we get to the game, we got floor seats. I don't know about you. I ain't never said. I ain't know how to act like these out seats. Be like, yeah, boy, like you sure ain't nobody gonna come get up? Ain't nobody gonna move up? You sure? You sure? Are you sure? You're like, bro, we good. I'm like. And in my mind, dudes don't acknowledge this. I'm like, this is my new best friend. Ain't nobody ever treated me like this. Floor seats. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be the best man at this dude's wedding. If he got a best man, I'll be the ring bearer. I don't care. I'll be a grown man walking down the aisle with a pillow. Love ain't happening here. So we at the game, and I don't know if you ever sat. You know, I'm used to sitting where the peasants sit. I've never sat at the floor, so when you sit at the floor, you get a menu. I wasn't used to the menu. You gotta have money to sit down. You gotta save up a few months' mortgages to buy some nachos down there. So I was looking a little conflicted because I wasn't prepared. He's like, hey, bro, whatever you want, it's on me. I was like, for real? Hey, thank you, man. So we ordering food. He got cotton candy. You ain't had. He's like, hey, bro, you want some cotton candy? I'm like, man, give me some cotton candy. He taking pictures like, hey, Snapchat, like, hey, cotton candy, hey, hang it out with my boy, you know what I'm saying? Long story short, man, we get, game is over, we chilling, everything cool, ain't nothing crazy. He take me to the crib, we talking, so I get out the car, he get out the car. I'm not like, okay, you know, we still talking, maybe he don't want the conversation to end. I don't know, it's not really normal for dudes to get out the car with you, you know, but it wasn't that crazy because he act like me, talk just like me, you know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, you coming to Hoop Friday? Because it was Wednesday. Remember, I just met him that day. He's like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, cool, bro, I'm gonna holler at you then. So I come in for the normal hug like dudes do. Come in like this, like, all right, boy. And when I come in like this, he opened up both his arms. And I'm coming in, and I'm trying to rationalize why he got both his arms open. I just met him today. I love my brother with two arms. Maybe he think we had like a brother kind of connection because it was a good time. I don't want it to be real weird because I just had the time of my life, so I just commit and start making noises to make me feel more like a man. I'm like, all right, boy, it's crazy, for sure. When I'm in the hug, his face touched mine, so I move over. I'm like, maybe you didn't know. And he come again, I feel his face, I'm like, hey, bro, elated? Like you happy? He's like, no, I'm gay. That's why we went on this date. I'm like, man, you don't know date. What are you talking about, bro? Bro, that ain't funny. Ain't nobody else around to laugh. Why you playing, bro? He's like, I'm gay. I'm like, bro, stop playing. No, you not, bro. You act like me. You talk just like me. He's like, what that's supposed to mean? That you not gay. What do you mean? You didn't say bananas and prunes juice. You didn't say none of that. He's like, I asked you. I'm like, you did not. Okay, yeah, you did ask me out, but I ain't know it was on no date. And I started thinking about everything. I'm like, I put my number in his phone. He picked me up. He bought me food. I was thinking about the pictures and everything. I'm like, this dude took me on a date. And I was the girl. And I liked it. Oh my God. All right. I was like, bro, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. He's like, we can't do this again. I'm like, no. He's like, man, it's just that I had season tickets. I was like, I'm not gay, but you want to go out for some bananas and prune juice, we can talk about it. Hey, y'all, Mary Brewer.
You're skinny and you're black and you wear glasses, Urkel. My name's Orlando Baxter, and if you can't tell by my accent, yeah, I'm black.
What?
I know that's obvious to most of you guys in here, but I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood, predominantly Hispanic, and they all thought I was Dominican because I could roll my R's. Like whenever I say my name, I'm like, hi, I'm Orlando. And they get real excited, you know? They're like, Orlandito! Orlando, ¿qué pasó? And then I have to tell them the truth. Sorry, I'm basketball black, not baseball black.
Damn.
I liked it though. I like growing up in a Spanish neighborhood, you know? Learn how to roll my R's. I also learned how to do that little Spanish dance. You know the one? Spanish dance. 90% of the population looks ridiculous trying to do this dance, right? Not me, man. I learned, man. Wepa. Here's the thing about that dance. Not only is it a great dance, but it's also the most effective way to kill cockroaches. Because the spray doesn't work. I remember I used a whole can of Raid on one roach. All the roach did was lay on its back and wash up. Don't forget my face, brother. I got a date. The only thing I didn't like about growing up in that neighborhood is I got picked on a lot because I wore glasses. Anybody wear glasses in here? See, I didn't have the thin kind though. I had the thick kind that attract bullies, you know? Like bullies would get excited when they see me walking. They would talk to me the way like they were construction workers, you know? Every time I walk by, they'd be like, woo-wee! Look at the lenses on that one right there. Woo! That's all pupil right there. I bet he does all the homework. Look at him. Woo! It was terrible. I get bullied. Because you're skinny and you're black and you wear glasses, Urkel. Everybody went, Urkel! I remember the first time I ever got bullied, I was sitting in class, sitting there and doing my work, just trying to concentrate, doing my work. This older kid was like, yo, Urkel, do something Urkel-y before I punch you in your face. I didn't know what Urkel-y meant. So I picked up my pencil and I stabbed him. He was laying on the ground. I was like, did I do that? I still got suspended though. hated glasses, man. I had the big, thick kind. The reason I couldn't take them off. You know, some people can just take them off. I couldn't take mine off because growing up, I used to have a cross eye, and then I had the glasses to keep them straight. You know. Some of you guys are looking at me. They look fine now. That's because I got money now. You know. Got laser eye surgery. It was like sending my eye to boot camp. It straightened right out. You know. It was terrible. I couldn't take them off. Because sometimes they'd fall off. People wouldn't call it a cross eye. They'd be like, "Oh, you got a lazy eye." That's rude. No, it's rude because it's not like your eye has an option. You know? It's not like that eye woke up one morning and was like, "Man, forget this job. I'm gonna go over here and hang by your nose all day if you don't mind." She's hanging there like a heroin addict, man. Oh, I hated it. So I always keep the glasses on, you know? Would never take them off. Doesn't matter how much they call me Urkel, you know? I learned at a very early age I'd much rather hear, "Hey, Four Eyes," than, "Hey, who the heck are you looking at?" You know? That's the answer on a question I knew I couldn't answer. I think I'm looking at you, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you. This is all I do now. This is all I do is stand up, travel, meet interesting people. You know? Learned a lot of things. I was down in North Carolina, had a pretty weird experience. I was on my way to the beach. I stopped at a store, walked in, asked the lady at the counter, and said, "Hey, ma'am, can you point me in the aisle where the sunblock's at?" She looked at me and said, "For what?" I was annoyed. I was like, "Because I got a white girl tied up in my trunk, that's why." Which is rude. Well, why should I be the only one uncomfortable in the situation, right? She looks at me, she said, "Oh my God, I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't trying to be rude or offensive or anything. Please forgive me, sir. Please forgive me." And I did, whatever. But I did think it was a little bit weird. Because if I did have a white girl tied up in the trunk, she didn't care. Just a white girl in the trunk. And then she goes, "You know, I had no idea black people use sunblock." And at this point in the conversation, I probably should have walked away. But I was curious. You know? I said, what do you think we use? She said, no, I don't want to say. I said, no, tell me. What do you think we use? She said, no, I don't want to say. I said, listen, I ain't going to tell nobody. Clearly I was lying, right? She goes, well, I just thought y'all had the ability. I said, ability? Like a superhero or something? She said, no, I just thought y'all had the ability to absorb the sun. I said, what? I've never heard that before in my life. I couldn't get mad at her. I asked the question. I just looked at her. And I said, ma'am, I don't know where you get your information from. But just because we're darker than you doesn't mean our skin's made out of solar panels. You think black people go to the beach all day to charge up, just be laying out there? Come on, son, give it to me so I can run faster. Strange, man. But before that, before I was, because I've been doing.
You.
Hey, man.
What up?
Just thought I'd give you an update.
I'm live streaming right now.
Alright, I'll call you back later.
Alright, I'll talk to you in a little while. Alright.
Must be good news. Sounds exciting as
You
hell.
can call back the next. Hey, I want to call you with an update. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I've been waiting for a call back. They were supposed to call me back in 16 minutes, 4 hours ago.
Mm.
So now I said, no, I'm not doing no more callbacks. I'm gonna just stay on the line till y'all fucking answer. I did get my pay statement today. I can't get my money until tomorrow, but I did get my pay statement. So that was cool. Everything's set up. And I changed my address today too. Cause I swear, like, when I was working at that other call center in Maryland, I was making the same amount that I make now. And they were only taking out total.
You
like
ain't talk too many numbers while we on live.
Huh?
Yeah. You talk too many numbers while we on live.
I didn't say any numbers.
Okay.
I didn't say how much I make, did I?
No, I'm just saying beforehand. Go ahead, babe. I'm listening to you.
Nothing. Just switching my address to Maryland will save me like $200-300, if not more, maybe $400 a month. So that's all I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna say how much I make. I've never worked anywhere before where they taking out 500, and then now with my promotion, they taking out like $600-700 in taxes a month, and $600 in taxes. That's crazy. You know, fuck that. Taking my shit back to Maryland, and I'll have an extra $400 in my pocket, not going to taxes and shit, or roads that they don't even fucking fix anyway. I mean, they take a fucking lot out for Medicare, too. I'm like, what the fuck do PA be on? I ain't with it. It was 24 minutes, fucking 5 minutes ago. I'm hungry. I have no idea what we're gonna eat for dinner, so we need to figure it out.
Comedy full time for the past 4 years, but prior to that, I was a high school teacher. No, don't clap. I quit. I got out. I quit. People always ask me, man, did you leave because of stand-up comedy? Did you leave because of stand-up comedy? I'm always like, no. I left because I got tired of driving to work every day and wishing the building was on fire. Because I taught for 12 years, you know. First year was rough. I was a substitute. Oof. The substitute teacher's the worst, right? Especially that first day, you know. Walking to class, kids all in my face. You ain't no real teacher. You ain't no real teacher, son. Because if you were, you wouldn't be crying. I've been arguing, right? Then I was a history teacher. That's what I went to school with, a history teacher. I used to forget things all the time, so that didn't work out. And then I became the school's in-school suspension teacher. Oh, that was strange. Because you just sit in your classroom and you wait for kids to show up. I remember one time the principal escorted a kid to my room. He said, Mr. Baxter, this is Derek. Derek's been making cat noises in class. He's not on his medication today. We're going to leave him here with you as a safety precaution. Well, what about my safety, man? I'm not a cat whisperer. I ain't got no litter box underneath my desk. It's a safety issue. Don't worry about it. Then he just left. First of all, if this is a safety issue and you're the principal, you should be doing something about it. You should be standing in front of the school with a list of all the kids on medication. You on your meds today? No? Get the heck back on the bus. We can't take you today. They're scared of you in there. Sat in this room with Catboy all day. First off, he didn't want to do any work. He's at the pencil shop and just staring at me. And I was terrified because he had no pencil in his hand. So of course I go, are you all right? Are you okay? He said, I'm trying to be good so I can go back to class. I said, man, I don't think you can go back to class. He said, why not? I said, because you're making cat noises, man. Once you make cat noises, you don't go back to the general population. He said, well, can't you say something to the principal? I was like, say what? You think I can just call the principal and be like, hey, he's purring now. Can I send this crazy behind back to you? I said, no, man, you got to sit down. He didn't like that. He hissed at me. I don't know if you've ever been hissed at by a 14-year-old. It was terrifying. I know I was nervous because I moved the stapler a little bit closer to me. I said, I will staple the heck out of this cat if I have to. I'm a dog man anyway. So I knew this kid was going to be a problem. He didn't like it. Just eyeing me the whole time. 20 minutes later, another kid kicks open my door. Got kicked out of his class for wearing pajamas to school. Right? He was all upset. Be like, you know what I'm saying? You crazy, yo. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't. You know what made me laugh about this kid? He thought he was a tough guy. How you Way tough wearing pajamas. This dude had cornrows, Tupac shirt, SpongeBob pajamas, right? SpongeBob. He's like, yo, this is crazy, yo, for real. Why they kick me out of class for wearing pajamas? I didn't know the answer to his question. So I said what a lot of teachers say when we don't know the answer to the question. I said, why do you think they kicked you out of class for wearing pajamas? He goes, well, as soon as he goes, well, Catboy loses his mind. You can't wear pajamas because they're afraid your pencil might pop out. And I wanted to yell at him for saying it, but my instinct was like, that's a pretty good answer. A pencil might pop out. I thought it was funny for about 30 seconds. Then I got nervous. I said, what if his pencil does pop out? I don't got a backup plan for that. No teacher does. Because it's not like an iPhone. You can't look at the kid and say, hey, either put that away or I'll take it. I'll put it in the desk with the other pencils on it. You know, the worst kids, my favorite kids used to be the ESL kids. English is a second language. You know, because they would get in trouble, made me feel bad sometimes. They would get in trouble over miscommunication. I got this one Dominican kid that got in trouble because he accidentally broke a window in class. Accidentally. So I said, Jose, how you accidentally break a window in class? He goes, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, the teacher. He calls his teacher a t-shirt, by the way. He said, it's not my fault, the teacher. The teacher said to me to crack the window. And as a teacher, you're not supposed to laugh. I laugh my behind out, man. You ever laugh so hard you fart a little bit? He said, it's not my fault, don't laugh. Then I started feeling bad for the kid. Not because he broke the window, not because I farted in his face. I felt bad because I was like, damn, what if he doesn't change? That'd be crazy. 10 years later, he's doing the same thing. He's at the police station. Cop's like, Jose, why'd you shoot that Chinese man? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. The boss said to me, do you want a cappuccino? And I said, some of y'all gotta let this marinate for a little bit. It's not my fault. Teaching's crazy though. It's a crazy job. There's certain things, a lot of things I didn't like. Thought was weird. We'd have this drill called lockdown. You guys have heard of it, right? You gotta pretend there's an intruder in the school. They make you do 3 things: lock the door, turn the light off in the room, get in the corner with the kids. I understood why we locked the door. I didn't know why we turned the light off. I always thought that was weird. Because every classroom door has a big window on the door. So even if you turn the light off, the intruder can still see you because it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you know? It's not gonna look inside. Must be closed and there the lights are off. It's dumb. I'd be better off if I took off all my clothes and blended it into the blackboard. Hey kids, listen. I got my own spot. I'm cool, guys. Y'all on your I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. Plus, I don't think the kids would probably rat me out, you know? Intruder would walk in, where's your teacher at? The kids would be like, right there. He'd be like, where? And they'd blow chopped up. Right there in the corner. Then you gotta get in the corner with the kids. It's another weird thing. You gotta get in the corner. I would get in the corner with the kids. The kids would be like, mister, why are we in the corner? Why do you think? I have no idea why we're in the corner. No idea why we're in the corner. It's not like an intruder's gonna kick open the door and be like, damn it, they're in the corner. I gotta go to a more circular room in the school. I always said, I don't understand why we don't take the chairs and desks and put those things in front of the door. That way the intruder has to get through the door and he has to physically remove the items out of the way. And when you're in the corner with the kids, you just hand out those really sharp number 2 pencils. You look at the kids and say, hey, who wants extra credit? You let them stab them. You encourage them from the corner. Get him, cat boy. That's a good cat. That's a Thundercat right there. Jesus crazy, man. Gotta break up fights all the time. Breaking up fights is rough, man. I'm training break up fights, you know. I remember one teacher at my school, she dislocated her shoulder trying to break up a fight. So during the teachers meeting, you know, I asked the principal, I said, hey, how come we don't get any training on breaking up fights? You know what the principal said? Come on. The teachers, use your instinct. Isn't that a weird thing to say? Because what if your instinct tells you to put $5 down on the big girl, right? Now he's all upset. I can't believe you only put $5 down on that girl. You know she's undefeated. Come on, man. Very difficult job. Subs have it the worst, though, man. At my school, we used to run through subs. There was a sub at my school. She quit before she finished taking attendance.
Damn.
Took a cigarette break right in class. I don't even care no more. Took a cigarette break, left. Assistant principal goes in, grabs all the kids. They usually disperse them into different classrooms. They brought all to my room. So Mr. Baxter didn't watch the kids for the rest of the period. I said, fine, bring them in. They come in my room. They only did one period. So I said, hey guys, listen. We're gonna do something fun. We're gonna play Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it, nothing hard. It's gonna be fun. The kids were like, back, no. I was like, all right, listen. Whoever wins a bag of Snickers. Because I had a bag of Snickers in my desk for about 2 years. I was trying to get rid of them. They were like, yeah. So I split them up, boys against the girls, which you should never do. They get too competitive. You know, the boys was like, no, Shane, we gonna win them Snickers, you know what I'm saying? This is our Snickers, you know what I'm saying? Then the girls was like, oh, we gonna be on Instagram with these Snickers, hello, right? So we stopped playing this game. The most intense game I've ever seen in my life, Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it. We're playing this game, kids are sweating. I've never seen that happen before. Sweating. 30 minutes into the game. Scores all tied up. It's 0-0, right?
Nobody knows shit. What's the capital of South Dakota?
I'm confused because I let them use the books. I didn't understand. I look at the clock, the bell's about to ring. So I say, hey, listen, I'm going to ask them the easiest question in the world. What is the capital of Massachusetts? Because we're in Massachusetts. Before I can say, take your time. This girl jumps up. She goes, ooh, I know. It's the letter M. Hello. Give me them Snickers, right? What's the capital of Massachusetts? Hello. Give me them Snickers. Then she started high-fiving all the girls on her team. They're celebrating. And when I seen this, it almost made me laugh. You know what made me laugh? When I looked over at one of the boys, he was like, oh man, I knew that one. Come on now. guys, listen. That's been all my time. You guys have a good time? Thank you. My name is Orlando Garcia. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what my daddy meant when he said it's gonna hurt me more it's gonna hurt you. See, I'm old school, y'all. I believe in disciplining my kids. I believe in spare the rod, spoil a child. So sometimes in my house it gets physical. My sons are bigger than me. So sometimes it gets real physical. Last week it got physical, and I think I pulled something. I was sore for 3 days. I said, that's what my daddy meant when he said it's gonna hurt me more it's gonna hurt you. And I come from a strong Christian background. In my house, we have the Bible on DVD.
Damn.
A DVD of the Bible. So when my kids do something wrong, I make them sit down and watch when Abraham was gonna sacrifice Isaac. And I pause it right before the lamb comes and I make him go to bed. Life moves so fast, y'all. I remember when they were little, now they're getting bigger. My son, my youngest son, is the most polite, disrespectful child in the world. Polite, disrespectful. He don't curse, he's not rude. He disrespects you with proven facts. Been doing it his whole life. Remember, he was little, took him to a friend's house. He was like, Dad, I'm kind of hungry. I said, all right, we'll leave, we'll get something to eat. And my friend overheard him. He said, hey, little buddy, you want something to eat? I got something to eat. You want some? He said, no, thank you, sir. You have roaches, and roaches carry germs. I'll just wait till I go home. You do have roaches, man. He at the age now where he wants to do what his friends do. Hey, Dad, can I get the new iPhone? I said, you got some new iPhone money? No, that's why I'm asking you. Well, I guess you're going to use that old Android. All right, Dad. Well, can I hang out with my friends? Yeah, hang out with your friends, but call me at 8:30. Okay, Dad. 8:30 comes. No call. 9:30 comes. No call. He walk in the house at 10 o'clock. Upside his head immediately to establish dominance in my home. Hey, man, didn't I tell you to call me at 8:30? Dad, I didn't call you because my phone died. When you with your friends, don't they got phones? Don't they got chargers? Well, yeah, Dad, they got the new iPhone. I got this old Android. The charger won't even fit. Well, if they had their phone and they had their chargers, why didn't you call me from their phone? Well, Dad, I didn't call you from their phone because I don't know your number. I know Mama's number, but yours is just a speed dial. Just go to bed. He got me again because I don't know his number either. Y'all don't know my number anymore. Polite, disrespectful. I remember he was the only black kid in his class. The only one. I was proud at the open house because the kids did self-portraits. And I immediately knew which one my son was. Now, the beautiful thing about these pictures was each kid got to put one thing they love at the bottom of the picture. Little Shelby had, I love Barbie. Little Josh had, I love soccer. My son, Little Ray Ray, bottom of this picture. I love chicken. He didn't know. But he did get a gold star. Yes, he did. Well, this is definitely going to be an away game. jokes are, just throw them out there so for you to catch them. I'm not gonna work extra hard, right? Oh my gosh. This is crazy, yo. I was having a bad day, yo. You ever have a day so bad that you call one of your friends that you know is doing worse than you? So you feel better about your situation? I called my friend and I was like, hey man, you get that job? He said, no. I said, good. You should get a tattoo on your face. You'll stand out in the interviews. I'm glad y'all laughing, y'all, because right now as a country, we're in a bad place. Because we're so divided. Everybody divided, all because of that election. I learned something. Donald Trump is 70 years old, and Hillary Clinton is 70 years old. I called my grandma. I said, Grandma, it's jobs out there if you serious. This kid sitting in the rocking chair looking cute. Grandma, get out there and do someplace else. You ain't raised us like that. Too much information on the news, y'all. Kids watch the news. They know what's going on in the world. I saw some kids outside playing Ebola. Yes. You got Ebola. I was on hazmat. But you didn't have no insurance. I called Obamacare. I recently moved, kind of depressing. Not that I moved to a bad place, but everything I own fit inside a truck that cost $19.99. They offered me the insurance for $9.99, and it just wasn't worth it. And my new neighbor is a thug, but he homeschooled his kids. So every morning they're outside playing. I don't know if they're skipping school or they're on recess. And I'm just too scared to ask. This year's flying by, y'all. I said I'm gonna complete things that I started last year. I started an after-school program for kids where they can come and do their homework. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I serve Chinese food. I call it home walk. What the fuck? That's how my jokes are. I just throw them out there so for you to catch them. I am, be honest with y'all, I started this whole comedy thing because the NBA wasn't interested at this time. I'm 5'5.5". That's not the funny part. Women say things to me that they don't say to other men. They say stuff like, "Oh, you're so cute. I'm a grown man. Why would you say that to me?" Because everything is cute when it's little. She gonna tell me if you was taller, you would be so handsome. I said if your hair was longer and you was in better shape, you would be Beyonce. And it never fails. After a show, somebody always walk up to me, they pat me on the back. "Good job, big man." Now I'm excited and confused at the same time. Maybe I am kind of big for a little man. Kind of like a jumbo shrimp. Or a megabyte. That's like me giving false hope to a blind man. "Hey, Ryan, think I'll be able to see again?" "Yeah, we'll just play it by ear." And that made me think, who cleans up after seeing eye dogs? Wow. I'm at that point in my life where my family making me do stuff They forced me to get a cat. I hate cats. Cats are jerks. Don't care what you say. I can't stand them. And it's a rescue cat, so he's off the streets, so I don't trust him. No, he still got his claws. It's like I live with a felon with a firearm. And cats are so condescending. They look at you like they don't trust you in your own house. That's how the cat be looking at you. And whenever I leave, you get on my side of the bed and you look at me. Hey, you know when you leave, I'm gonna be cuddling with your wife. I got a dog and a cat. If you have a dog and you set a glass down, man's best friend might take a sip out your water. You'd be upset. You'd be like, you know what? My best friend just took a sip out my water. What you gonna do? Let me tell you how much of a jerk this cat is. This is what the cat did to my water. And I think he just came out the litter box because my water tasted crunchy. Yeah, I was very upset too, y'all. When you're mad, you make other people mad. You don't try to, it just happens. I went to my doctor's office. I asked him who his doctor was. And then I switched doctors.
Damn. Yeah, who's your doctor? I'm going right now.
I went to the mall, I saw a family. The whole family was ugly. I said, dang. Even the best looking person in their family is still ugly. That's like being a valedictorian in the GED program. And every time I go to the mall, I always get an application. No matter what store I go in, I get an application. People think I'm crazy. And when I leave the mall and people in the parking lot begging for spare change, I just go. You can use me as a reference. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Ron, but my first name is spelled different. It's spelled R-A-H-N. Yes, my mother was tripping. First day of school, my name was always like a question.
Man?
Ran.
Ran?
Ran. Dang, these black kids. They got my favorite Now listen, if you're running for class president, we gonna need to see your birth certificate. I got a website, y'all. Make sure you check me out, RonHortman.com. My link to Twitter's on there, my link to Facebook, because everybody's on Facebook. My mama's on Facebook. My grandmama's on Facebook. My bill collectors are on Facebook. They keep poking me. I keep ignoring them. They actually scan my bills and tag me in the pictures. My mama gonna comment, yeah, he owe me too. And then she liked it. How you gonna like your own comment? That is so selfish. And do me a favor, y'all. Email, call, text all your black friends. I don't think it's appropriate they participate in Farmville. Nothing fun about farming, y'all got us the first time. And if you send me a farm bill request, I will treat it as a hate crime and prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Okay, older people, Facebook is this thing on your computer. Your computer kind of like your typewriter, but with a TV screen on it. See, I always talk about older people, not because I don't like you, I just don't trust you. Old people are slick. You say hi, then they say hi. You end up talking to them for like 2 hours. About how a loaf of bread used to cost a nickel. Now, old people can say anything to you, and you have to respect it. You have to respect your elders. This old man would tell me, excuse me, young man. I said, yes, sir. He said, I love what you did to your hair. I said, well, thank you, sir. So, yes, it's very nice. Now, do you wash it once a day as a face or twice a week as hair? Once a day as a face, sir. I was in the grocery store. This old man said something to me. I didn't know how to respond, y'all. I had no comeback. I'm pushing my cart. I said, excuse me.
Alright, so went to check out our center today. I thought I was gonna get keys for the center, but we were told that there may be like some spare sets of keys out there somewhere. So before we distribute keys, we're gonna get all the locks changed. So there's no use in like making copies of a set of keys that we're not gonna be using in a couple of weeks anyway. And then I posted some pictures on Facebook, and the president told me to take them down because she's not ready for the announcement yet. And I was like, dang, man. But these are the custom forces I did. Looking all extra sharp. This is my boss's kid. But yeah, got some good pictures of her wearing them. I did get some footage of our boardroom though.
6 years, so he knows the business back of his hand, everything.
Yeah, he needs to be our go-to guy.
Yo, check out our boardroom too. Looking like a fucking episode of Mad Men, yo.
So,
Shit is fucking
and
ridiculous.
this clock controls the clock in the front. And he said that he was trying to keep it going. He told me, Wayne, please.
Yeah, the fuck this grandfather's clock, like she said, if you set this clock, it sets the major clock in the front of the building.
That's where you put it in.
And then this paper right here is like the original instructions for this fucking clock from like the 20s or something, yeah. From like the 1920s.
Oh wow. That is very nice. I know y'all excited.
It's probably too short to climb up and look, though.
So these are the major offices upstairs.
Installations right there.
I'm hoping that I'll have one.
You can kind of see, but
This is her office.
this is the one we pushed
main
up
office for the president. So
that one.
me being VP, I should have an upstairs office with the windows. I don't know. I'm not gonna ask for one, but because I have a classroom. So I think the classroom may be my office.
These wires are going straight into the floor right there.
Oh, I don't know what.
Yeah, somehow we tried to move that desk, but apparently the desk itself was hardwired to the fax machine and a phone line. Like, so we couldn't even move the desk.
Here, but because it's all in
And
case
this is
you don't have to worry about it. Only thing every year is we have to be like, do an update, like how's the asbestos? Fine. Tiles are covered. Or like, you know, starting to peel back. Then we have to, you know, do some extra shit. But for now, it's all good.
It's like my third time going in there.
My room. Yeah.
This is my room.
Dope.
This is gonna be my art room. Already got a sink down there for water access and cleanup. Tons of space. Already desks down there. Cabinets. And then there's a storage room right behind it. So that it'll be more storage for other art supplies. Through that door right there in the back, there's a storage room back there. So that'll be my classroom. And this is the actual old safe or the vault, because it was like a legit bank, yo. So it's cool as shit, yo.
That would be dope for a photo or a video shoot.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Mid. I'm hungry.
Yeah. So what are you gonna eat? 902 East Market Street. Alright, Main Ave. What do you want to eat?
I asked you earlier.
Well, if you're smoking and drinking, you're gonna get more hungry.
No, I'm okay. What's dinner time? I mean, it's almost 7 o'clock.
Really?
It's 6:40.
Oh damn. I feel like I'll be coming in here later while I walk the
And
dog.
see, the thing is, I can't eat after 12.
Yeah. All right. Well.
So I want to eat some good food, and I didn't get that handled either. I'm waiting on the whatever for that. So everything else I got taken care of, but I didn't take anything out for dinner. I asked you what you wanted when I was at work.
Oh, you're talking too much. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?
I don't want to cook.
What do you want to eat?
Something good.
See, I'm about to be like Matt Dillahunty.
I mean, babe, I told you 3 times I'm hungry, and I asked you what you were in the mood for. You know what I'm always gonna say, I just don't want Indian food. I gotta be in the mood for Indian or Asian food.
That's what she wanna eat. She said, I don't want to cook. That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay, babe, well, I mean, what I really want to eat? Some seafood, but what will I eat? I'll really eat anything, as long as it's not Indian or Asian. I know, we just had seafood. I didn't have seafood, though.
Yeah, I agree. Say you didn't, but yeah, I could go for seafood.
I want. I don't know. Yeah.
You want what?
Red Lobster.
You got Red Lobster money?
Yeah.
We going Red Lobster money.
You got Red Lobster money?
You say you got it.
No, I don't. I get paid tomorrow. Since you want to be all in my bushes. I mean, seafood's not cheap. Where you gonna get seafood from?
I mean, niggas gotta get dressed to go to Red Lobster.
No, they don't. Alright, so then I told you what I wanted, and now you don't want that.
You say you want seafood, and I said I'm good with seafood.
But then you just like, oh, we gotta get dressed. So what do you want? You want something
I want some
quick.
seafood now. I want some fried fish and crab legs and coleslaw.
And you know what?
And hush puppies.
And guess what? I'll give you some money tomorrow. And you can just do whatever you want.
I should go all the way back to Scranton to Taste of Paradise and get one of these fish plates. With some mac and cheese.
Red Lobster. I'll make you some fish tomorrow. I'll make you some fish and some cabbage and whatever you want. Deal?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be here a while.
Babe, I'm gonna be home by the time you get off. My mom leaving to go to Georgia at like 10 in the morning. So after my appointment, I'm gonna go chill with her for a minute. And my grandma got her vaccine, so I think that means I can see her now. Hug her or whatever. So I'm probably gonna take her, I don't know, to the water if it's nice enough. Probably go get my oil changed. My car is I need you to actually get in my car because I feel like it's running funny. But I know I need to get my fluids done. But I need you to tell me. But yeah, I might try to get my car done. And then that's it. I'm not staying out there all day.
I could probably finish this painting before the weekend is over. I need to put something on canvas. I need to start sketching up some shit tomorrow. I don't give a fuck what it is.
I got a grocery shop tomorrow.
I just need to put something on a canvas to get a new painting started before I run out of shit. Cause I only got 2 small paintings left, and that ain't enough.
You just been knocking them out though.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like it take you a minute, but from when I first met you,
and then I've been trying to be lazy with it sometimes, like with this, and I know this about myself too.
You
like,
have less time now, and you still been knocking them out.
Well, sometimes I'll purposely procrastinate because I feel like I'm getting to the point where I don't know what I'm gonna do next. So it's like maybe if I just slow roll this painting and not try to finish it so fast that my next idea will come to me.
Well, you got ideas.
I want some male models, yo. I need some guys.
And you can do
yo.
animals. You can do the dog.
And still life.
We still didn't do our photos.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, just stuff to give you ideas. Even if you take some photos of the dog.
Yeah, but I want like some meaningful stuff. I don't want like a lot of fluff and filler. Just like, oh, that's a pretty painting. I want my shit to mean something.
What do you? The dog means a lot to me. Everybody got a different. A lot of people love animals. Are you crazy?
I didn't say that.
People be trying to save animals over people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. I mean, I can't tell you what to paint. I'm not trying to tell you what to paint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, just to give you some inspiration.
There, I can finish that one, that little colorful galaxy thing. I honestly forgot what I was going to do with that shit. But I can make something out of it. I had this other idea.
You still have those?
That's what I'm saying, but those are the only 2. Like, when I'm done with this, then I start painting those. And they're not that big, though. Those are like some of the smallest paintings I've done in a long time. I feel like I'm going to just run through those shits, yo. Like that's why I don't want to finish this one so fast. I know as soon as I start on them, I'll be finishing them shits. So it's like I want something on canvas before I even start these things, yo. Cause they're the last ones. Fuck. I work too much. I paint too much. Fucking paint too much, yo. I gotta stop painting every day. You can do me.
You be taking forever to answer. I got called in the nail shop and asked them how much for a French pedicure because they be charging like an extra $20 for
I did ask Connie if I can photograph her husband. And then she was like, oh, what would he have to do? I was like, nothing, just let me look nice and let me take some pictures of him. Then she must have told him that shit. He's like, fuck that. And that she never
did. How much for a French pedicure? No, for a French pedicure. A deluxe, just a regular deluxe. Yeah, the deluxe pedicure, but the French paint. 50? Okay, thank you. That's exactly what I wrote down on my paper too, because last time when I went and got black, they charged me $35, which is actually a really, really, really good price. That's like way cheaper, and they do a good job. So I'm like, look, as long as you keep them prices low, I keep giving you good ass tips.
Mm-hmm. I wear gloves to the gym, but I still get calluses. I gotta get some new gloves with a little bit better padding in it. My damn one hand getting rough as shit again. I hate having these weightlifting calluses.
Oh yeah, remind me to order that for you tomorrow. And the would you want a glove for your iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can look at that tomorrow.
All right.
I'm dressed. I mean, I can change, but I'm dressed.
Yo, Zaza, you've been the only one there chilling the whole time. There've been some other people, but I appreciate you watching the stream, checking out the progress on these portraits, and I hope you have a good evening. I'll get with you next time. Peace.